Life doesn't get easier. You get colder, harder, sharper, and when you finally do, it's not because the world changed. It's because you did. There's a moment when the weak crumble under the weight of uncertainty, and the self-confident man, he doesn't flinch, not because he knows the outcome, but because he no longer fears it. This is the point of no return. Let me tell you the truth you were never meant to hear. The most powerful trait of a self-confident person isn't charisma. Isn't positivity. Isn't even courage. It's strategic indifference. He's immune to opinion. He's untouchable by praise and unshaken by rejection. And this makes him the most dangerous man in any room. Now sit tight. Because this script isn't some pretty package of affirmations. This is mental warfare. And you're here because deep inside, you're done with self-doubt. You're done seeking permission. You're done being liked at the cost of being respected. You want unshakable confidence? Then burn this truth into your mind. Confidence isn't loud. It's lethal, and today, I'm going to hand you the weapons. Let's begin with the first principle Machiavelli would tattoo onto the soul of a modern gladiator. 1. Cut off the echo. Do you know why most men feel small? Because they're drowning in noise. Validation from fake friends. Applause from cowards. Approval from a crowd that doesn't know who they are. Machiavelli knew this in the 1500s. The man who depends on the opinion of others is a slave. Even in freedom. A lion doesn't ask the sheep if he's roaring too loud. A general doesn't poll the army before he goes to war. Self-confident men cut off the echo. They build internal validation systems. You don't need her praise. You don't need their likes. You don't even need their understanding. You move from principle, from power, from purpose. Now I want you to ask yourself, brutally, are your decisions filtered through the lens of, what will they think? If so, you're still being owned, and until you kill the addiction to being perceived, you will never taste what real freedom feels like. Here's your task. For the next 7 days, do one bold thing daily, without explaining yourself to a single soul, not your friends, not your family. No warnings, no permission slips, just action. Watch what happens. You'll feel the silence first, then the discomfort, then the rise of something ancient. That's power. That's self-possession. That's the rebirth of the man you were meant to be. But now comes the second trait, and this one, it's forbidden. Point 2. Ruthless self-reliance. Let's not sugarcoat this. Every system you were raised in was designed to make you dependent. On the education system. On your boss. On emotional crumbs from a partner who can't even love themselves. But Machiavelli? He warned, he who builds his foundation on the arms of others shall fall. Real confidence is forged when you become your own rescue mission. No therapist is coming to save you. No guru. No politician. No lover. And here's the savage twist. When you stop expecting a rescue, you stop sinking. Look, every powerful man you admire, at some point, he made one cold decision. From now on, I carry myself. That means you build your own discipline. You create your own structure. You hold yourself accountable, like a tyrant would, because in this life, you either become your own king, or you stay a peasant begging for mercy. Let's pause, because I want you to feel something right now. That heat in your chest? That friction? That's your old self dying. And the new self, he's not asking for a pep talk. He's demanding transformation. So I'll leave you with this. The world won't respect you until you terrify them with your independence. When you stop explaining, they'll call you cold. When you stop chasing, they'll say you changed. When you finally choose yourself over everything, you'll be hated before you're respected. But that hate? That's the toll you pay to cross the bridge into true self-confidence. And most men, they turn back before they even see what's waiting on the other side. You won't, because you're not like most men. They told you confidence was about smiling more. They lied. They told you it was about believing in yourself. No. That's marketing. Real confidence isn't belief. It's readiness. A kind of inner steel forged in betrayal, forged in silence, forged in rejection. It's the quiet that remains when your name's been dragged through the dirt, and you still stand, unmoved. Do you want to know why most people never develop true self-confidence? Because it requires you to walk into the fire alone. To hear every voice telling you to turn back, and to whisper to yourself, "Burn me! I'm ready." This is what Machiavelli knew, that true power is never given. It's taken, with unflinching nerve and brutal clarity. And now, I give you the next law of the self-confident mind. Point 3. Strategic coldness. We were all taught that being nice makes us good. But Machiavelli shattered that illusion with one sentence. It is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both. Why? Because when love is conditional, fear remains consistent. This doesn't mean you become cruel. It means you become precise, selective, unapologetic with your energy. The self-confident man doesn't fear being labeled cold, because he knows being warm to everyone is how you bleed your power. You must learn the art of emotional distance. You do not over-explain. You do not beg for understanding. You do not allow guilt to infect your boundaries. Let me tell you a story. There once was a Roman general, Lucius Cornelius Sulla. He was brilliant, ruthless, and utterly unmoved by emotional pleas. When his own officers wept, begging him to show mercy to traitors, he gave one command: carry it out. Not because he lacked a heart, but because he refused to let weakness govern justice. And that is the code of confidence. Let the world call you cold, if it keeps you clear. Still here, good. Because now comes the lesson most people will never be ready to hear. The next weapon of self-confident men is not for the faint of heart. Point 4. Mastery over emotional triggers. They will come for you through your emotions, through your shame, your anger, your need to be seen, heard, understood. They will push buttons you didn't know existed. And if you react, they win.do. You want to be powerful? Then remember this: control over your emotions is control over your fate. They want you impulsive. They want you erupting, defending, justifying. So they can write your story for you. But when you learn to pause, to feel the storm, but not show it, you become untouchable. Let me make this clear: you don't need to suppress your emotions. You need to dominate them. There's a difference between feeling and reacting. A confident man feels everything, but moves only when it's time. Practice the pause. Breathe before you strike. Let the silence do the talking. The enemy expects your reaction. Disarm them with your stillness. There's a reason Stoic warriors meditated on death daily. It made their fears laughable. Their emotions, tools, not masters. Start journaling your reactions every day. Ask, what did I feel? Why did I react? What would a ruler have done instead? Over time, the noise inside you will quiet, and what remains is precision. I want you to hear me on this. Most men are emotional puppets. They get ghosted, they spiral. They're criticized, they collapse, they lose status, they self-destruct. But not you, not anymore. You are the storm. This brings us to the final shift for today, and it may just destroy every belief you've held about confidence. Point 5. The power of withholding. You've been told that being authentic means sharing everything. But here's the forbidden truth: a man who reveals too much loses power. Machiavelli knew this. When everyone knows your moves, your dreams, your wounds, you become predictable, vulnerable, manipulable. So the confident man, he withholds. He moves in silence. He lets his actions speak volumes, and his silence terrify the weak. He doesn't announce his comeback. He returns, stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. You must learn to speak less, reveal less, move with mystery. Why? Because mystery commands respect. When they don't know your limits, when they can't read your next move, they hesitate. And in that hesitation, you win. They told you confidence was about light, but they never showed you the shadow it's built from. The real trait that separates kings from clowns? It's not charm. Not even dominance. It's this: they have nothing to prove. You've been trained since birth to chase significance. To get the grade, get the job, get the girl. All of it, a performance. All of it, dependent on external applause. But self-confident men, they walk into the arena and burn the script. No applause needed. No permission requested. Because their worth was never on loan from anyone. That's the twist Machiavelli whispered to princes behind closed doors. Appear as you must, but know who you truly are. They act when needed, but inside? They're sovereign. This is where we go now. into the heart of this trait. Because it's not one thing. It's the fusion of several internal weapons, and the next one, it will make people uncomfortable around you. Good. Let them tremble. Let's begin. 6. Non-reactivity as power. Most people are predictable. Insult them, they rage. Ignore them, they beg. Challenge them, they fold. And this makes them easy to control. But you're not wired like that anymore. The man who doesn't flinch owns the battlefield. Because when you stop reacting, you start dictating. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He ruled over the most powerful empire on earth, and still, when he was betrayed by his closest men, he didn't rage. He simply removed them. No performance. No outbursts. Just action. That's what self-confidence looks like when it's weaponized. So next time they test you, pause. Don't respond to disrespect with defense. Respond with silence and distance. Because your absence is louder than your argument. Remember, when they can no longer trigger you, they lose access to your energy. And once your energy becomes sacred, you become godlike in your self-command. But it gets deeper. It gets darker. Because now we step into a realm few dare to enter. The next trait? 7. Calculated presence. The self-confident man does not chase attention. He makes his presence felt, even in silence. You ever walk into a room, and without saying a word someone shifts the energy? That's not by accident. That's presence. But here's what they don't tell you: presence is engineered. Through discipline. Through internal alignment. Through the removal of desperation. When you no longer need to be seen, you become unforgettable. Think of Miyamoto Musashi. A lone swordsman, walked with nothing but a blade and unreadable eyes. He didn't boast. He didn't shout. But men feared him like a ghost. That's calculated presence. A man so centered, even silence becomes a statement. You develop this by knowing yourself with brutal honesty. Not fantasies, not wishful confidence, but knowing your darkness and your light, owning both. You want real presence? Do this. Every morning, ask, what part of myself am I still hiding to be accepted? Then kill it. Because the more of you that's hidden, the weaker your signal. Reveal yourself to yourself, and the world will start reacting to your presence without you ever opening your mouth. Now listen. This is the turning point. The world doesn't need more polite, apologetic men pretending to be strong. It needs more men who have stood in front of their own madness and didn't blink. That's what confidence is. Not perfection, but command. Not certainty, but resolve. You won't always know the path, but now, you no longer beg for maps. You blaze your own trail. You've made it this far for a reason. Because deep down, you're sick of playing small. You're sick of dimming your power so others feel safe. You're ready to unchain it. So I leave you with this. The transformation is not about gaining something new. It's about removing everything that was never yours. False beliefs. People pleasing. Emotional dependency. Noise. Burn it all. And from the ashes, the real you stands. Unapologetic. Focused. Untouchable. But the final gate. You've made it further than most men ever will. Because most? They tap out at the first sign of discomfort. They get one drop of resistance, and they fold. But you came here to destroy what was holding you back. To kill the boy, and become the architect of your own mind. Now I give you the final, most powerful trait of the self-confident man. It is not loud. It is not praised. It is feared. And yet, it's the source of all quiet power. Point 8. Detachment from outcome. Read that again. Not detachment from effort, not detachment from vision. Detachment from outcome. This is where the weak stay stuck. They do everything right, but still obsess over what they cannot control. They fall in love and grip too tight. They chase success and suffocate it. They enter battle, already afraid of the ending. But the truly confident, they act from intention, not obsession. They let go and command results without needing them. This is the move Machiavelli taught. In whispers, a wise man does at once what a fool does at last. Meaning, act decisively, with precision, without begging for guarantees. Because the moment you require certainty, you lose power. Think of a samurai walking into a duel. He's not focused on survival. He's focused on the cut. On the clarity. On the present moment. not on the applause that may or may not come. That's detachment. And it's terrifying to those who've built their identity on outcomes. You must live by this code now. I do not chase. I attract through my silence, through my discipline, through my refusal to beg for results. Your value is not in what happens next. It's in how you move regardless. Apply. Walk away, speak. Walk away, love. Walk away. No reaction. No chase. No clinging. That's the apex of self-confidence. Now let's take everything we've built and bring it home. Because confidence isn't a mood. It's a system. And if you've been listening, you now hold the entire blueprint. Cut off the echo. Ruthless self-reliance. Strategic coldness. Mastery over triggers. The power of withholding. Non-reactivity. Calculated presence. Detachment from outcome. This is not theory. It's armor. And now, it's time to wear it. Because every day that you delay stepping into this mindset, you hand your power to people who haven't earned it. You hand your emotions to women who don't respect them. You hand your vision to men who don't see it. You hand your time to systems that feed on your hesitation. And no more. Starting today, you build your mind like a fortress. Cold, stoic, strategic, indestructible. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you've changed. Let them whisper in confusion when you no longer play small. Good. Let them. Because your silence is your power now. And your presence? It speaks for you. So here's what I want you to do. Take one line from the series. One line that hit you in the spine. And comment it below. Not for me, but for the version of you that's still buried, waiting for you to rise. Then subscribe. Because this isn't the end. This is day one. This is where we build men of fire. Men who walk into the storm and grin. Men who don't flinch when abandoned. Men who don't fold when betrayed. Men who carry themselves like kings, because they've already been to hell, and came back forged. You are that man now. Stand up, straighten your spine, and say it with me. My mind is my fortress. I build it unbreakable. Now go, and let the world feel what silence powered by purpose sounds like. Let them feel you, because you are no longer trying to become something. You already are, and nothing can take that from you now.